Good afternoon. You join us at the lovely Izaac Walton Fishery here in the heart of Staffordshire. Today we're fishing on what's known as the top pool, and this is where we have most of the matches here. Some would say it's probably the best pool on the venue. This is full of, as you just saw, many big carp. The key to this lake is really simple fishing. Today we're catching big fish down the edge, nice and short on pellets, and over to the far bank. Weights from here, you can see anything typically up to 200 pound this year. Mainly carp, but there's also a lot of small stockies in here. We've got lots of bream, and then in the winter months there's loads of roach, perch, smaller and bigger skimmers to keep yourself busy. Today we're going to go through a few of the other pools and tell you how to fish them and some of the tactics that we've used to win some of the matches here. Rightio, so the first of the pools here at Izaac Walton is bottom pool. So the bottom pool's actually the first of the pools, or lakes if you're from down south, that started off the fishery. Some 25 years old now, so this was stocked originally with carp, bream, roach, your standard type venue. Obviously a lot of those carp now have become quite big creatures. So this pool is very much known for its specimen anglers coming down here, a lot of pleasure anglers, quite simple fishing. So your meats, your corns, your pellets, typically method feeder to the island. We've got a nice island that covers the centre of the pool. Any kind of method feeder to the island, bomb, always does well. In the winter months, you've got a nice hole here where people chuck into that, and you find the carp tend to congregate there in the winter months. But very simple fishing. So if you want to come down and do a bit of pleasure fishing and catch those big old wobbly carp, this is probably the pool for you. Right, number two, we are on middle pool or middle lake. So this is full of your usual commercial type fish. We've got lots of carp in here, we've got lots of skimmers. There's actually the odd chub if you're lucky enough to get one of them as well. You want to approach this pretty much the same as the top and canal. Lots of soft pellet tends to do well in here rather than the hard pellets. Catch them short, nice big carp, lots of ghosties in here which will really play you around. For some reason the fish in here do really hang on, and they will pull you around, so make sure you put pretty heavy gear on, because like I say, you can catch 4 ounce skimmer one chuck, the next chuck you can have a 10-pound ghostie that's pulling you halfway across the lake. You'll always get the fish coming into the margins here later in the day. People have been winning, putting a load of ground bait down the edge and fishing worm or corn over the top, so don't be afraid to pile that in towards the end of the match and you'll get good weights. 150 pound is what you're looking for in a match in the summer months. Now we're coming into autumn, and you know it's getting colder into winter. Despite us having the last of the sunny days today, it's slowing down a little bit, but definitely end up with some good bags of mixed fish in here. Right, number three, we are now on the Canal. The Canal is the only of its type on the venue. About 14.5 metres wide, all the way around. Most of the fishing here is done across the far side in the summer months, but this lake is actually used quite a lot in our winter league, as it always tends to throw up. This has had a large stocking of those small stockies just before the last winter, which have put on a bit of size over the summer and have gone a bit quiet now, so they're hiding away, I think, for the winter again. This pool is full of ghosties. There are more ghosties in here than normal carp, and they will pull you all over the place. So again, put on some strong gear because they'll snap you up. There's a lot of bream in here. If you draw in the matches midway up along the left hand side down the track, you'll get a load of bream. They always seem to hang around there. Those are the better pegs along this left hand side. Far right hand side in the 20s, it narrows up a little bit. It's about 10 meters wide over there. Down the track again, lots of maggot in the winter, really does well on the maggot, and soft pellet. Hard pellet works okay, but not as well. Edges tend to do okay, but not as well as the others. Really down the track and on the far side in here. Weights 80 to 100 pound, the typical. Bait wise, again, soft pellet, expanders, corn, but maggot really does well. Get that maggot down the track, in the edge, on the far side, you'll always do well.
The first time I ever came to Izaac Walton Fishery was 10 years ago. I fished a match here, the only match I ever fished. And then a couple of years later it was for sale, but it was a bit too expensive then. And then we came back, so like 12 years later, and here we are today. Because it's something I've always wanted to do, because I'm a fisherman. I've been fishing all my life. I've always wanted my own fishery, eating fresh air, making pegs and cutting grass and improving the fishery. Breeding fish, breeding my own fish. When I took over, it was just all overgrown, and trees just needed cutting down, and pegs needed cutting out and redoing, grass cutting, overflow pipes, tanks, net dips, things like that, signs. Just wanted a bit of tender, loving care. Plans for the future is to get the breeding tanks going in the hatchery, breed my own fish, stock the lakes so all these anglers can catch 100-pound weights every time they fish. Make them all happy. Well, Tricia runs the cafe. Tricia is my partner. She does all the breakfasts, top breakfasts, proper Cumberland sausages. It's when the clubs come, they have a nice sit-down breakfast, catch a few fish, and it just makes memories. Everybody has a good chat, everybody gets on with each other, and then hopefully they'll come back every year.
So today we've approached the top pool as simple as possible. You can come to the venue here with a bag of 6mm pellets, a tin of corn, and you're done for the day. Really, really simple fishing. You don't need to go and fish far out. A lot of people make the mistake of picking up poles and going 13, 14.5, 16 metres, and you really don't need to. Just keep things really simple. So today we've got a top kit plus 2 sections out in front of us with some hard pellets, 6mm pellets on a band, chucking the odd one over, really regulating our feed and having some nice fish there. Then obviously now we're coming into later in the day. We've got a swim over the far side, and we've got one just down our edge. We've been putting in a large amount of ground bait and fishing sweet corn over the top. But one thing you really need to do here is really beef up your gear. You can't be going down with 18 hooks, 013 hook lengths. You really need strong gear. So we're fishing purple hydro down the side, 022 main lines and 017 bottoms with 14 hooks, and really having to pull hard on these fish. One thing that's really noticeable about Izaac Walton is that even today we're catching 4 or 5 pound fish, and you'd quite easily mistake them for double figures. They pull that hard. So by the end of the day, hopefully you've got your arms aching and you've got a nice big full net of fish.